a name you can't see, but it dominates the rhythm of the world. Have you ever had the feeling that something is going on in the world and we are only allowed to see the surface? In 2013, US President Obama was holding a closed-door meeting in the White House. This was supposed to be a routine safety briefing, but a scene was accidentally recorded. He lowered his head in deep thought, and a strange pattern was projected on the wall behind him. An eye embedded in the top of the pyramid glows slightly. That is not an illusion. It appears on the $1 bill, in the architectural design of the United Nations, in the coordinates of Washington, and in the background images of popular music videos, Hollywood posters, and Super Bowl commercials. A symbol that is so familiar that it makes people numb, but has never been explained. Behind this all-seeing eye is a name. The Illuminati. The Illuminati. On the internet, it has almost become synonymous with conspiracy. It is said to be the mysterious black hand that controls global media, banking, religion, and politics. Some say they have a base on Mars, others say they decide war and peace. Some even firmly believe that behind every social upheaval, there stands a hooded round table. But the question is, does the Illuminati really exist? Is it an alliance of secret rulers, or is it a psychological projection of modern people into the chaotic world? Or, the truth is far more complicated than we thought. It once really existed, but was deliberately disappeared at a critical point in history. Yet, in certain systems, it continues to exist in the form of symbols and concepts. It does not appear in the name of an organization, but is applied as an architecture language. In this episode, we'll step into the fog blurred by modern entertainment and social media to explore. What is the true origin of the Illuminati, and why is it closely related to the Enlightenment? Does its founding philosophy really concern freedom and human awakening? Why was it later seen as a threat and quickly evaporated from historical records? Who is continuing it? Why do its symbols still appear in finance, architecture, and rituals? The real question you should be asking is, do we really understand how the world works? Or are we just living in a carefully designed bright narrative? Historical and scientific background, born in the name of light, buried in the shadow of power. What is called a conspiracy is not necessarily fiction. What is truly dangerous is often those who try to awaken humanity. On May 1st, 1726, in Bavaria, Germany, a young law professor named Adam Weishaupt quietly gathered 5 like-minded close friends. In a candlelit library at the University of Ingolstadt, they exchanged vows, lit a candle, and wrote a name on parchment. Illuminate Norden, meaning the Order of Light. They do not claim to represent gods, nor are they subordinate to any king. They had only one goal, to use the light of reason to illuminate a world obscured by theocracy and monarchy. They believe that true freedom comes from knowledge, and true evolution comes from awakening consciousness. In that era full of religious superstition, aristocratic privileges, and ignorant education, the idea itself is a kind of spiritual rebellion. The beginning of light, the secret alliance of the enlightened. Weishaupt was a rationalist who was deeply influenced by the French Enlightenment, Rousseau and Voltaire. But he also knew that under theocracy, spreading ideas and organizing awakening would be punishable by burning at the stake. So he imitated the secret structure of Freemasonry, but developed a more complex class advancement system. Every member must pass multiple stages of testing, including philosophy, logic, moral judgment, and ability to bear the truth. Their symbols are extremely secretive and have deep meaning. Owl, Minerva, represents wisdom and the awakener of the night. The all-seeing eye symbolizes the point of awakened consciousness in infinite cognition. The light beam penetrates the darkness, symbolizes reason breaking superstition, and true knowledge driving away illusion. They hide their identities within the Freemasons and use the stairs of light to identify each other. They are like a group of glimmering seeds that penetrate the blind spots of civilization and sneak into universities, courts, research institutes, and parliaments in European countries. Why did they become enemies of the state? In just 10 years, the influence of the Illuminati has expanded rapidly. According to records, they absorbed more than 2,000 high-level intellectuals and members of the nobility in Germany, including Prussian officer, student of philosopher Kant, writer Schiller, musician Mozart. Note, it is said that the Illuminati codes are hidden in his later works. This rapid infiltration made the Holy Roman Empire and the Vatican feel unprecedentedly uneasy. Because the essence of the Illuminati is not to overthrow power, but to redefine power. They questioned the divine right of kings, called for the separation of church and state, advocated educational reform, and even advocated the establishment of a world republic ruled by reason. This is not a riot, but it is more dangerous than a riot. The order of extermination comes from those who fear the light. In 1785, the Elector of Bavaria issued an edict. The Illuminati was an illegal organization and was to be dissolved immediately. All member lists were confiscated, core documents were burned, Weishaupt was exiled, and the rest of the group scattered. Since then, the Illuminati has disappeared from the surface of history from being a real organization, but has quietly entered a field that is more difficult to eliminate. The archetypes of the rational traitor and the invisible manipulator in the collective imagination. The 19th century's counter-Enlightenment began to portray the Illuminati as representatives of dark forces. The church associated it with Satan. The nobility demonized it as a revolutionary machine. By the 20th century, it had become the mastermind behind the collapse of all order. What an irony. An organization that originally sought to light up the world. In the end, it was interpreted by the world as the deepest darkness. What was manipulated was not the regime, but the worldview. An organization can be destroyed, but a worldview once implanted in the collective cognition of mankind will never disappear. Why do the Illuminati scare the powerful? It's not because of how many people they gather or how much wealth they control. Instead, they created a world operation model that could replace the existing theocratic order and royal structure. They replaced the army with symbols, constructed institutions with ideas, and even attempted to turn human consciousness into a sophisticated social engine. In this section, we will dismantle the three major hidden structures of the Illuminati. 1. Symbolic system. What cannot be expressed in language is accomplished by symbols. The Illuminati's most powerful weapon is not documents, but symbolic language. They know very well that language can be censored and distorted, but symbols are penetrating and can directly act on the bottom of consciousness. The most common Illuminati symbol, the all-seeing eye, symbolizes collective wisdom, or superconscious light, and was later placed on the US dollar as a mysterious metaphor for power vision. The unfinished top of the pyramid represents order is still under construction and symbolizes an unfolding plan. Owl, Minerva's owl, represents wisdom opening its eyes in the darkness, derived from the goddess Minerva, symbolizing awakening among the sleepers. Light beams piercing through the clouds, symbolizing truth-piercing illusions, echoing their name, light bringers. It's no coincidence that you see these motifs in modern architecture, financial logos, art, music videos, and even cartoons. Their repetition is a kind of cognitive suggestion training. Over time, it stops being just a graphic and becomes internalized into your subconscious understanding of authority, truth, and structure. Source consciousness architecture, not controlling the government but replacing the civilization operating system. The ultimate goal of the Illuminati is not to seize power, but to rewrite the source code of order. This stems from their rational republican philosophy. Rather than controlling an emperor, it is better to control everyone's imagination of the king. They try to build a self-organizing social model that is not driven by religion, bloodline, or fear, and includes the following modules. Knowledge is the source of power. Politics should not be based on birth but on knowledge hierarchy. This influenced the later elite technocracy. Symbols as order structures. Replace traditional doctrines with visual systems, affecting financial design, national symbols, and urban planning. A system of progression. Everyone should rise up the ladder of consciousness, later widely adopted by Freemasonry. They even devised a thought flow chart that sees human cognition as ordered fluctuations that can be precisely managed. Introductory stage. Inspire self-reflection. Intermediate stage. Deconstruct collective illusions. Advanced stage, reorganizing cognitive structure and becoming a disseminator of light. These are not fantasies, but an early mind engineering experiment. 3. Cultural projection. Myths are their most hidden tool. Since the 20th century, the Illuminati has gradually disappeared from the archives as a real organization. However, it has forcefully invaded popular culture, fictional narratives, and psychological structures. Think about it. Hollywood blockbusters such as National Treasure, The Da Vinci Code, and Eagle Eye all center on an Illuminati-style conspiracy. Illuminati symbols frequently appear in stage design, hand gestures, and background images in music videos. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Lady Gaga. In animation novels and comics, the hidden person who controls the world has become a popular theme. You think they are being exposed, but in fact they are being transformed into a form of entertainment. This is not about removing fear, but about repackaging fear, making people accustomed to the existence of control and numb to the repetition of symbols. You'll find yourself laughing about the Illuminati. The possibility that someone is designing the world has been taken for granted. This is the most sophisticated form of manipulation, making you think you are questioning the truth, but in fact you are repeating the narrative script they have woven.